Hey guys, this is Ryan with the Next Generation Show, and I figured I'd pop on a Patreon and show you guys a little bit about the gardening stuff that we've got going on. We had a bit of a storm and we're still feeling it, but we got a break in the weather, so I figured I'd come out and show you some of the things that we've got going on. Here on one side we've got rhubarb, and I wanted to show you a little bit about that. We've got a 50-pound bag of onions, and I want to show you something with that. And over in the distance there we've got a little left over from last year that we're going to show you how we can propagate some of that and keep it going in the garden for this year. So let's start off with the rhubarb. So as you can see, the rhubarb is doing really well. There's quite a bit of it here, and it's about 3 or 4 feet tall. It's a lot like celery, and when you take the leaves off, as long as you don't eat the leaves, the actual stalks are edible. But in order to do that, and to encourage this growth, what you need to do is cut the seeds off. This is where it started to go to seed. So you want to lop those off whenever they come around. And what we'll do is we'll knock these off, and I'll show you kind of what that's all about. And then we'll get into the onions and the garlic on the other side. Another reason why to keep a good knife on hand at all times. So we're going to pull that seed off, chuck it, and we'll look around for any other ones on any of the other plants. See, here we got a little bit more, so let's chase those down too. And kind of set that up, hopefully it won't fall on me. Set that guy. See, and you'll want to catch it as deep as you can. And all those rhubarb seeds, when you cut them off, they encourage growth outward. And if you can see, let's see if I can peel these layers off. So you can kind of see, I mean, this is a pretty good example right here. See the size of that leaf? So that's about as big as my forearm. And down inside, look at all that rhubarb. Here's where I've cut off a previous seed. So it's pretty important, and when you do that, and it'll encourage a lot more growth. You can get a lot more plant. Well, what are these onions about? Well, because of some of the things that are going on with the COVID-19 and some of the farming industry at the moment, a lot of farmers were offloading some of their produce. So I managed to pick up this bag for free from someone who paid $5 for it in exchange for freeze drying half of it, and then I would get the other half. So I've freeze dried almost half of it. I'm going to freeze dry the remaining half for myself, but I wanted to show you something because in this 55-pound bag, we got a winner. If you can see that guy. But that right there, that's the one we want. Of course, it's at the bottom of the bag. But, see if we can't get it out without too much trouble. Some of these are starting to go bad. This one in particular is worth pulling out because of that. See that? Beautiful. You pay $5 for a 50-pound bag, you get 50 pounds of onions, and one of them has all these different coming off of it. And most of the time people will throw these away. But what happens is, you pull these apart, get those layers off, and you can do this with a store-bought onion just as easily. See those roots coming up? And every single one of those green starts is going to be its own bulb. See if we can pull this guy out without damaging too many of them. We're dropping her on the ground. See all those roots growing up inside there? I'll try and catch this one here. There. See that? Beautiful. Just like a bulb of garlic. So what I gotta do now, stick that guy in the ground. And we got another 50-pound bag of onions. Looks like we got a couple more in here, but you get the idea. So we'll plant these in the ground here, especially since it's raining. But what I wanted to do is take you over here and show you this other spot in the distance. A lot of this looks like just weeds and garbage and all that. You know, there's not a whole lot going on. There's a dog toy over there. But what I wanted to show you was this part right there. Now, to the untrained eye, that looks just like a cluster of grass, right? This guy right here. But the wise observer that is a cluster of garlic. And every one of those is a single garlic clove that we're gonna go ahead and throw in the ground. It's like we got about 20 of them, maybe 30. And this was from last year when we let these go to seed. Now you see that, you look around, there's some there, and there, over there, up there. To a trained eye, a lot of these makes it makes sense to be able to see what's out there, because something that looks like grass might actually be a bulb like garlic or onions. Okay, so here we've got our onions that we separated earlier, and I wanted to show you with garlic, especially when it's been growing in a clump in the ground. You can kind of see how it's all knotted together. So we're just going to gently pull it apart like that. And then each one of these will develop into its own clove. So you just want to kind of be ginger with them, separate them out. Just a gentle pull. Leave as much root as you can. And just peel them off like that. Every single one of them will be its own clove. And if you have no room in your garden, but you let your garlic go to seed, these are great clusters to give to people as gifts, and give them an opportunity to learn how to grow garlic. I gave some of these to a buddy of mine several years back, and he's still growing the cloves today that I gave him several years ago. And just like that, you got your clump separated into its little bits and pieces, and you're good to go. So now I can go draw a line in the dirt and set these in the ground. Between the onions and the garlic, we're looking pretty good. Right, well, it's pretty wet out there, so rather than videotaping in the rain, I figured I'd go on out and plant the seeds, and you guys can watch it in high speed. Well, it ain't much, but you can see here we got out of that one little cluster, oh, what is there, 3 by 6, 18 cloves of garlic, and then 3 onions at least out of that one. So once the weather improves, we'll check back in with you guys a little bit later and see how these little buggers are doing. I'd like to point out one thing. For the untrained eye, this looks like a bunch of weeds, but since I've worked this garden for a couple of years now, I tilled earlier this year, and I started looking around and waiting to see what was going to pop up, and I came across this little guy. This is a beet. Last year the beets went to seed, and when I tilled, I realized that, oh, there's another one, and there's another one. So right here, you can see that guy. That right here is a beet, weed, beet, weed, beet, beet, weed. So you can kind of see that, you know, letting stuff go to seed, I probably shouldn't have done it, but then again, as it worked out, I actually had a bunch of my beets stolen from mice this year, and because I did let them go to seed, I was able to ransack a couple of them for free. So sometimes it works to your advantage, and even after I tilled this soil, they still popped up. So definitely something worth keeping an eye on, and check your garden for life before you go through and destroy all the weeds that are in it for prior. Well, that's gonna be it for us today. Looks like the sun finally broke, and the rain's on its next mission somewhere else to help someone else's garden. So thanks for joining us, and hopefully we could at least share some of the ways that you can take produce and stuff that's gone to seed to make sure that you've taken full advantage of it the following spring. And you know, when seeds do pop up, you know how to make sure to get the most out of your plants when you do. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate your support on Patreon. Patrons like you make it happen. So there's not much more I can say, and other than just I appreciate you guys doing what you do, and hopefully you guys have all the content that you're looking for, and share the word. You know, let folks know who we are and what we're doing, because little things like this do make all the difference in the world. So have a good night, everybody.